Kyrie Irving, man, can that guy catch a break? Today is Monday, the 14th of June, and as far as I know, the game hangs at 2-2 in the balance in a 7-game series, and Kyrie Irving has just hobbled out with a sprained ankle. And if you don't know your biology out there, sprain is much, much worse than twisted. Twisted, a couple of days, you're probably back after a little ice pack. Sprained, probably a bit more than that. Probably not this series, and then with the series hanging in the balance, who knows whether we're going to see Kyrie Irving again this post-season. And that's a shame for this shoe, because this shoe is all about the race to the finals and trying to go all the way in the NBA this year. Now, we've been flipping things at the channel recently and trying to do it this way around, which is firing all the details at the front and then keeping all the sort of generic chat for the back. So let's get straight into it and go right to the point of the shoe, which is right here on the back. Now, when I first looked at these guys, I was like expecting this. There's the Daybreaks, and the Daybreaks really did it for me when they took the Kyrie 7 line to a new level with that fire swoosh on the side. And I'm like, man alive, I am looking forward to Kyrie 7s coming out. And they haven't disappointed since then. There have been 2 or 3 more that have come, and they've each had distinctive hits on them in unique and very interesting different places. But then I saw these guys, and I was super let down. I'm looking all over the thing, trying to find where is that signature, that one little detail, which is kind of the way they do it over the Kyrie 7 line. Is it's kind of one thing on the shoe. So if you've got those fire swooshes, the rest of the shoe is pretty solid, but nothing spectacular. But then with these guys, it took me a while to find that one bit, and I found it right here. And what we're talking about is a gold heel, which in and of itself is an amazing detail on a shoe. And we'll get into all the other gold bits on the shoe in a minute, because there are quite a ton of them. But really, it's the ring in there that makes all of the difference. Now, if you zoom in close on the ring, I think what you'll find is something from Kyrie Irving, which is always tying it up to Greek mythology, ancient Greece, pharaohs, pyramids, hieroglyphics, all that kind of stuff. And what you've got here is an ancient Greek ring, which is kind of lucky because, not Greek, did I say Greek?
A few moments later.
Egyptian, man alive, that was close. Imagine if I put this video up on YouTube, it's Greek all over the place. Ancient Egyptian, because there weren't any pharaohs or pyramids in ancient Greece. But anyway, the ancient Egyptian stuff on there, and you zoom in on the ring, you see it's an ancient Egyptian ring, which is great because it's not what would be like an MVP ring or a championship ring or something like that. Because at the moment, what is, in my opinion, the strongest team in the NBA right now is down its 2 major players. I think James Harden and Kyrie Irving are the 2 biggest players on the team, closely followed by Kevin Durant, and it's just Kevin Durant who's left standing. The question is, can he carry the team until the other 2 come back? I think James Harden will come back faster, and then you'll have to wait until the next series, if there is one, to see Kyrie Irving again. But basically, the point of all of that and this shoe is it's very, very risky to go ahead and put a championship ring on the back of your shoe before you've actually got your hands on that championship ring. But because of that Egyptian feel to it and not the championship feel to it, he kind of gets away with it. So it's but it's what sets sportsmen apart from the normal people out there. The fact that they could take that risk, they've got the confidence and the kind of like bravado to sort of put, I'm going to go get myself a championship ring, and the confidence to do that, which is always something that's incredible to me. So that's the main feature on the shoe. Like I said, with Kyrie 7s, there tends to be just that one major detail on there, with other nice details in support, but basically one major detail. With the Daybreaks, it was a fire swoosh. With these guys, it's a championship ring on the back, but we'll have to see. I mean, by the time this video goes up, I'm sure Game 5 will have definitely played. By the time you're watching this video, maybe even Game 6 as well, and that could be the end of the series, depending on who won. If one of the teams wins both of the games, but if it's 1-1 in those games, then you're down to Game 7, and maybe some of the big guns will be coming back by that time. We'll have to wait and see. But the interesting thing for me is that I'm shooting this on Monday the 14th, and you're probably watching this on like Thursday or Friday, and history is already sort of come and gone. The future is already history now, if you know what I'm saying. So, but still, it doesn't take away from the shoe, doesn't take away from that big detail on the back, and doesn't take away from the rest of the shoe. So we'll get into all of the rest of it, especially all of that gold, which is all over the place on this thing, as we take a look at the Nike Kyrie 7 finals. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel des.毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring in content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, it's the Kyrie 7. I'm calling it the finals. You could call it the gold. You could call it championship ring. I don't know what it's going to eventually be called, but that's what they're talking about. It's coming on June the 22nd, and it's supposed to herald the Nets' march to the finals. But that's stuttering right now, and you'll know more than me by the time that this video comes out. But that doesn't change the shoe, and a very clean shoe it is. And I said we'd get into all the other gold stuff, so we've done that first bit where we looked at the major detail on the back of these guys, and now we get into the rest of the gold on them. And I think what we will do is I think we'll go with signature, big feature to small feature. Sometimes when I do this kind of thing, I go from high on the shoe to low, but I think big feature to small feature is a better thing to go. So let's start with that. Down on the swoosh on the lateral side. One of the interesting things about Kyrie 7s is the swoosh on the lateral side is a different physical construction to the swoosh on the medial side. So on the lateral side here, you can see it's a gold piping, and that is kind of very in keeping with the out there swooshes on the lateral sides we've seen in many of the shoes, the Daybreaks, which we already talked about, but also things like the Chinese New Year. But the distinctive thing on that for me is that if you go over and have a look at the medial side, it's a totally different construction. Now they have gone with gold on the medial side. Sometimes they don't do that. Lateral side and medial side having different colors, but gold on both sides today. But what is the common style in the Kyrie 7 is it's printed on the medial side, and that's what you'll be looking at right here. And the upper it's printed on is very, very simple, not too much design there, and in the case of these guys, just very, very white. And if you go back and compare that to the lateral side, you see that that printed swoosh on the medial is now piping that comes 3D off of the upper, and the upper itself has a lot more going on it. So there's two major hits of gold on the shoe, and then two more major hits of gold in the shoe come when you look down into the shoe from above. And the two places we're looking at, one is on the tongues, and it's kind of neat on the tongues because you've got white tongues with black and gold branding up high. And if I remember rightly, the branding is in the middle in gold, and then the outside edges in black at the top of the tongues there. So that's another hit of gold, and then it's not too far to go back to the insole on these guys and see a lot of detailed pen line drawing gold on the black tongues down there. So black tongues with a lot of pen line drawing gold on them. So that's pretty much all the gold in the shoe. And I mean, it's not hiding the fact that he's got his eyes on a championship ring and trying to take it all the way to the big show this year. And that's what these shoes are designed for. They're designed for the big show. They're not designed for going out in the second round of the playoffs. So let's see whether or not they turn out to be a jinx or the prophecy of what is actually going to happen this year, which is going to be in a few days' time. And other hits on the shoe, though, there's a few more details in there worth looking at, so you know your Kyries. One of them is at the bottom of the laces, two major features down there. One is the big lateral side eyelets that kind of come up out of the sort of midsole area, and in the case of these guys, they're all black. Sometimes they're detailed and with colors. And also at the bottom of the laces, you have that lace stay on there, a loop down there, which always has the all-seeing eye, the triangle with the eye inside it, and that's definitely evident here in black on that white upper. Not too far away from that, you go down to sort of the front end of the shoe where you see the midsole coming up onto the upper, and you've got those shark's teeth there in a sort of grey teeth coming up on the black background, and it very much fits the narrative of the shoe and all the colourway that's going on up there. And then the final thing to do is to flip them upside down and have a look at what is a very simple colour on the outsole in a darker grey than the grade school variant of this shoe, which has a lighter grey outsole, but then all the detail in there in grey as well. So the actual grips and the detailing on the bottom is kind of lost in a single grey colour, except for a tiny little unit at the very back that's in black to finish off the outsole of the shoe. So that's pretty much the whole thing. I think I've talked about everything there is on the shoe, so the only thing to do is to sort of get back to the chat sort of side of things. So what I'm trying to do these days at the channel is to give the sort of major hits on the shoe straight out of the bat. Just go right in there, dive in feet first and be like bang, 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 bang. There's the major stuff on the shoe, and then gradually work our way to the sort of the regular features on the shoe, and then into some talk about the shoe itself, or which shoe it is, for example, being a Kyrie 7. And that's a flip for me. It used to be the other way around, where we start with the general talk, then the general details, and then the specific details. So hopefully you're appreciating me flipping around that way, and it makes more sense and more interesting content for you guys out there. I'd love to hear in the comments down below if that's true. For now, though, it's time for me to wrap this one up. Wish Kyrie Irving a speedy recovery, and all I have to do is to say that I do this every single day, and because I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.